Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Okay, well, we're going to talk to someone from Las Vegas today. And I always say when Roberta Hladek calls, who's the co-founder of the Energetic Matrix Church of Consciousness, or also known as the AIMprogram.com, it just doesn't fit. To me, Las Vegas is all this glitz and glamour, but Roberta is a very serious, very friendly, down-to-earth person. So how did you ever get to Las Vegas?
Good question. Well, we were trying to find a place that things weren't as expensive because California was getting very expensive, and we were looking at Northern California, but when you have three people trying to figure out where they want to move, it was almost like we should just throw a dart at a map and go there. It was just hard. None of us could, we traveled different places and we go, oh, we should go here. And then somebody else would say, no, I don't really like that. So we went and we used astrocartography.
What is that?
Well, it's like astrology, and it's based on your birth dates, and it tells you as far as your where you should live, as far as your health, your business, and what's more appropriate for you as a person and where you will thrive. And we had to find some place that was good for all three of us. And Las Vegas seemed to fit the bill, interesting enough. And so we ended up moving our office here, and I would have to say it was a great move. I had never really been to Las Vegas except for when I was a child. My dad brought us here when we were coming from Minnesota to California. And so I hadn't really been exposed to Las Vegas, didn't really know much about it, didn't travel here much. So it was a new experience, but I will have to say it was a great experience, and it still is. We have an amazing staff of people that help me, and it's been really, really good for us.
Well, I know that you do such great work. Sometimes you probably don't even get out of your office or anywhere, just trying to get into something new, and you're so excited, and you're like one of these lab rats, you're just in there working. But I had listened to this CD that you sent me. I guess I had never really listened to any of the CDs, or maybe I never had any. I just had the book. But I was so fascinated. Why don't you tell everybody about that CD? Can they buy it, by the way?
Yes, we do have them available.
Okay, good. So,
we have several. I don't know if our audience knows about The Secret, but The Secret was a movie that came out a few years ago, and it talks about the law of attraction and how to change your thoughts and your energy. A lot of us don't realize that when we speak, that's energy going out. So if we're telling everyone, oh, I feel horrible today, I'm having the worst day, the energy is just going to keep coming back with a horrible day and making you feel worse. So you got to be really careful how you speak and to keep things positive. And that's pretty much what The Secret is about. And there's different people on The Secret, and one of those people is Dr. Reverend Michael Beckwith, who is a very, very close friend of ours, and he's been on AIM forever, and I talk to him almost every day. And he is one of the teachers, the secret teachers, that's on the CD that we have. And they talk about how they have changed their energy and how the world looks when you change your energy and how you can create abundance in your life. And we don't mean abundance like cars and houses and all that stuff. It does go into that too, but it's also about abundance of our soul and how we think and how we feel, and have a lot of love and abundance in our life in that respect too. So and it was really kind of interesting because so many times, Anita, when we're on this show, we talk about the AIM program, and you go, well, what will it do for us?
Right.
And they talked about that in there, and it made me think again about it. And they were talking about disempowering energies. And disempowering energies are what we talk about are the energetic imbalances that we carry along with us. And what those do to our energy is it keeps us, it's limiting to us because we're so busy trying to keep those disempowering energies at bay so they won't manifest, that we aren't using our energy that we have available to us to create the things that we want in life and the world, the life we want to achieve. Maybe more love in our life, maybe a family, maybe better health, maybe a better job, maybe a nicer house, whatever it is. But once we release those limiting energies or the energetic imbalances, which is what the AIM program does, is then we have more and more energy to create what we want and what we deserve. And I had forgotten about that, and I thought that's really interesting way of putting what our work does, because sometimes it's hard to put it into words as to what we do. A lot of people go, energetic imbalances, what the heck is that? But if you think about disempowering energies or things that are limiting you in your life, that makes more sense to us. Yes,
it does. And these people are show people themselves. I mean, they have their own radio shows. Of course, Stephen, we knew, was talked to a lot of people, but I have to laugh about something because they would talk and all of a sudden Steve would interrupt him. No, that's not what I mean. He had no problem in getting it straight, did he?
No, and he had no problem telling anybody that they didn't have it straight either. Yeah, Steve was something else. But The Secret is an amazing, if you haven't watched it or listened to it, I would suggest getting a copy of it and listening to it, because it really is a feel-good thing, and I listen to it sometimes in the car when I'm on long trips, and it can change your life, that's for sure.
Well, why don't you tell people a little bit about it, because I did read it a long time ago, and I know there are a lot of things in it that I believed, and there are a lot of new things. But can you share a little bit of that with people?
Sure. The Secret is how to create the world that you want, and it's kind of I guess it's just kind of realizing what energy is all about. And I guess it's about 10 years old now. I didn't think it was that old.
It is, right. When it first came out, it was strange.
And it was kind of, and it really put the what I like to call us the normal people on a track of listening to what energy was all about, because it used to be all of the health conscious, and Stephen used to call us granola crunchers and things like that, the people that were new wave. And this came down to just the everyday person walking through life, because I know so many people that I wouldn't think that have listened to The Secret, and they work with The Secret every day of their lives. They still continue, and anytime they're feeling down, they turn The Secret on. And I think it's something that our new generation, the millenniums, I think they should watch it, because it's really interesting. It's very uplifting. But it talks about the law of attraction, and it talks about how you can write down your goals. And I made up these things called energy goal cards. And the goal cards are similar to what they talk about in The Secret, where you can write down what your goals are. Maybe your goal is to get into a new relationship. Maybe it's to get a better job, or maybe it's to think more positive, or whatever it is, and you write down those goals. And the reason I came up with those, and it was before I watched The Secret and before The Secret had come out, but I had traveled around and speaking about the AIM program, and I wrote down when I was on a plane one day something that I wanted to do, and it was I wanted to live in a house that I owned and do that by a particular date. And it was, I think it was 2005 that I wrote that. And I said I wanted to be in my home by the end of 2005. Well, when we moved to Las Vegas, I was cleaning out my day runner, because I'm still kind of old-fashioned, and I use a day runner where I can write things down. And I have things in my phone, too, but I like my day runner because it never goes down and it doesn't erase things. And I had these cards in there, and I looked at the card, and it said, by the year December 2005, by the end of 2005, I wanted to own my own home. And it was probably like 2007 that I was going through my stuff. And I closed on my home here in Las Vegas on December 5th, 2005.
No kidding.
And it was really interesting because I went, oh, my God, these are energy gold cards. So I started those. And then one of my employees, this was so funny, she came into me and she was in tears and she had her card. And I said, what's the matter? And she goes, I wrote a gold card and it came true. And I said, well, that's great. And she goes, but I'm leaving.
Oh, no.
She had wanted this job with one of the airlines. She wanted to be a flight attendant in the worst way, and she finally got her job. And she'd been waiting and waiting. So I said, okay, no more gold cards, people.
That's funny. Wow. Well,
yeah, so in The Secret, they talk about that, and they talk about a vision board. And
yes.
A vision board is like a cork board, you know, or a bulletin board, whatever you want to call it. And you can put pictures up there or something that you want to remind yourself of the goals that you want to attain. And that's what The Secret talks about in a nutshell.
Right. And it seems simple, doesn't it, that people would have just, I mean, I write down goals, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I do all the time.
But this is more. This is bigger, isn't it? It's more specific. It's not the goal to go shopping or go to the bank.
No. This is about big goals that you want to attain in your life. And, you know, like, for an example, one of the guys was saying that he was starting a business writing books. And he wanted to have money. He wanted to set a goal for how much money he wanted. And I don't know, it was $100,000 or something like that. And he over a period of time, and it wasn't like it was going to happen the next day, but they set these goals and he achieved it. And he said it was all about changing the way you think and the way you perceive things. You have to perceive the glass as half full, not half empty. And they talk about when you wake up in the morning, you know, if you stub your toe or you hit the alarm and you just like, I don't want to go to work today. This is a horrible day. It's just going to keep creating a horrible day for you. And I know we've all been there. And so when you feel yourself doing that, you need to take a step back and stop and change that thought pattern and change it into a positive thought pattern, and you can change the energy of your day. And that's what they're talking about, is how the energy, and they talk about there's all these billions of people that we have in the world, but really there's only one of us. We're all energy, and we're all part and parcel of each other, and we're all connected. So sometimes it's kind of scary to think about that.
Yes, it is. Because of, you know, some things that have happened already.
Yeah, there's some people that you don't think you want to be connected to, but we are connected. So it's kind of changing the way we all think. We can change that energy.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the way I think of the AIM program. I think, gosh, if everybody were on AIM, I wonder what the world would be like.
Oh, right.
Because we would all be in a more positive way, and we'd be getting over these flus a little faster, and a lot of things would be different.
Yes, you're so right. It's something to think of and hope for. Doesn't mean we can all make it, but if we don't think that way. But I like the idea. So when you have a major goal, do you have to accompany it with pictures?
I don't, but I know people that do. I know a lot of people that put pictures of maybe a friend of mine's a musician, and he has a picture of a huge venue, and he's on the stage, and all these people are listening, that he's got this big, you know, venue to play to. I know people that have put up, you know, maybe it's a home or a certain man in their lives that they want, maybe not particularly George Clooney or someone like that, but, you know, they have their idea. They have a list of who it is, you know, what they want, what the qualities in that person do they want.
Right. It's funny you should mention that, because I just saw an old movie with him in it, and I said, gosh, he's good.
Everybody loves him.
I know.
You know?
I'm glad he found somebody who I think loves him and who's good for him. I hope that's going to work out.
I hope so, too. And you might, some people put up that they want to go on a cruise, somewhere. And
so they take a ship.
Done that in a long
time. So they put
time.
a ship or something?
Yeah, or a brochure. Or, there's so many ways you can get creative with it, and it changes your way of looking at the world. And if you have that, corkboard in your office or wherever it is, or put pictures up on the bathroom mirror, so when you get up in the morning you're looking at it. But all those things help us to feel good, and that's really what it's all about, is feeling positive and having a positive outlook on life. And I've been around people that are in that down spiral, and trying to pull them back up, it's really difficult. And so sometimes, if you're having a rough time, give The Secret a shot. I think you can rent it probably somewhere maybe, but to purchase it, it's not super expensive. And you can watch the video, you can listen to the audio, or there also is a book. So there's so many ways. I've got the video and I have the audio, so I listen to it in the car sometimes, like when I'm on a trip and I'm going somewhere, then I'll listen to it, and it really helps.
Yeah, there's always things that if you listen at a different time in your life or watch something, you get different feelings from it, don't you?
You sure do. And there's sometimes when I'll listen to it and I'll go, oh, forget it. It's just not happening for me today. Or you start talking back to it. That's when you got to stop. But,
well, of course,
we all have those days, where none of us are perfect.
No,
but you
right.
know what? If we can get there 80% of the time, we're really doing well. So give it a shot.
Well, the CD that you sent me had three in there. And I was listening to the autism one, too.
Oh, yeah.
Was that fantastic?
Yes, about all the families,
Yes.
the moms and dads,
Yes.
and about the children and stuff.
Yes.
It's pretty amazing. We've done some, the AIM program has helped so many of the kids with autism. They've just been excelling tremendously.
Yeah, really, they have. I heard the mothers, talking about how the child was, and then she could see these differences, and the child itself could see the difference, and you just wonder how that works, though. I still don't get that, in a sense. Maybe you can help me with that.
With autism?
No, with how,
or just energy.
Yeah, but how the energy can change that. I'm still weak on that.
Well, when we've got these imbalances or disempowering energies, as they were saying in the CD, these energies hold us back, and they keep us from obtaining things. And also, sometimes these are disease-type frequencies that will manifest in our later years. And so with the AIM program, we have these frequencies in there which match up to our vibrations, and they remove those negative vibrations. And once those are removed, then we have what we call our life force rises, and then our consciousness level will rise as well. But it removes those frequencies and allows us to feel and to create what we really want. And so for these children and adults that have autism and they come on our program, this helps them to remove those negative frequencies, and so that they can come up and they can see and, attain what it is that they need to do. And it helps us make better choices. It just helps us in so many ways. Relationships, in school. I know a friend of mine's a lawyer, and he has all of his children on the program. And he has 2 boys and 1 daughter. And he said that when he went to help out at the school, he's like super dad. He has a big practice, and then he's always taking the kids to school, and he's going Christmas shopping for them. I mean, he just does everything. Anyway, he was on a field trip with the kids, and he was sitting with them in the classroom before they were leaving. And he noticed that the kids had an attention span of about 3 seconds, he said.
Yeah.
And he said he thinks his child had the attention span of 6 seconds. So he thought that was all because of the AIM program, that he was able to concentrate a little bit longer than the rest of the kids. And his kids are excelling. He said they're doing fabulous in school. So he attributes that to the program.
Yeah, and because unfortunately so many parents get these kids on the drugs. And I just, I know they have to do that for survival, I guess, but it's hard, isn't it? Do you
sure
personally
is.
know people, kids with autism?
Yes, I
do.
I do know. We've got a couple of our AIM program clients that come in that have autism, and I know a couple of children that are high-functioning autistic kids. And they have a show now, The Good Doctor.
Yes, I know that.
And
I love that doctor. Oh, my heavens.
Yeah,
Isn't
my
that
mom
something?
said that he's got to be the most amazing actor because she saw him on a TV show.
Right.
They were interviewing him, and she said he was nothing like the person that he portrays.
Oh, that's such a great show.
And he's high-functioning. I think he has Asperger's, right? I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, but I at first I didn't quite know what was going on, and then I realized what was going on, and he comes up with all the best solutions, and he knows just what to do, but there's no affect, he's just there.
Yeah, and a lot of times with the AIM program, we notice that these children and adults, they start to see and feel and have emotion, and things change in them. And it's really phenomenal. We have one girl that's been on our program for quite some time, and she now writes all of her own reports, but her grandmother usually sends in the reports. And her grandmother sent me a picture a couple months ago, and I think she's maybe 22, something like that. But she's graduated from high school, she's starting college, and she's married.
Wow.
And we were so thrilled.
Wow.
And she said she knows that she couldn't have done any of this without being on AIM. And she's just thrilled. And she's a beautiful little girl. And we're so proud of her. And Stephen would be just elated to know that she was married and thinks she's living the quote-unquote normal life, and whatever that is. But she's able to be and function in the world of no special programs, but she's functioning just like all the other girls her age.
Yeah, that is something. I wonder, and I don't know very much about autism, when do they first know? When they're born, do they know they have a problem, or do they have to wait to see how they act?
I think they've got to wait until the children are starting to move and talk, and they kind of can tell by then. Maybe it's the slow progression, like they know at a certain time when they're supposed to start speaking or when they're supposed to start trying to walk, and maybe it's that. Because usually when I'm testing kids for autism, they're usually like 2, 3, 4, something like that. So I would assume I don't have children, so I'm kind of at a loss here, but I believe that, they probably wouldn't know until the child is starting to speak, and they kind of have timelines when they should be doing that.
Yeah, it's, by the way, I wanted to tell you that we've had so many last-minute ads and things coming in. I've had to pull some of those wonderful little essays you do. I've had to pull them.
Aww.
Because, get an ad.
Well, that's great that you're getting so many ads.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
thrilled.
last minute.
I love your magazine.
Right, thank you. But last minute things come in, and we just have to do it. But, we're too far away, but we take doctors here twice a year. We have this Cure Symposium, and you've probably seen it when you get your magazine, and we have fantastic doctors. Well, this time we're having a doctor who is a pain medicine doctor. She's actually a physiatrist, and she, along with a lawyer who understands all the legalities of medical marijuana, are going to be one of our speakers. Love for you to be here. Right.
That's great.
Yeah, that should bring them in.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure.
But she was interesting, as she was saying, kind of a little bit like what you do. I mean, this medical marijuana is not the be-all and end-all. It's not what she uses all the time because she's actually been a pain medicine doctor. They use physical therapy. They use all other kinds of things. And then it's almost like a 10% usage of that.
Oh, wow.
So it's interesting. I think it's all going to come out. A lot of things we're going to find out.
Oh, for sure. That sounds great.
Yeah. Well, anyway, as usual, Roberta, it's always wonderful talking to you because I want everyone to go to the aimprogram.com and see what we are talking about. A lot of you sometimes are shaking your head. You have no idea, but it is really an amazing. I feel so privileged to be able to talk to Roberta and to have you and have had Stephen in my life. And I'm sure that I'm much better off because I'm on the program.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And it is something that we got to keep our options open and we got to investigate things.
Right.
And you can't just rely on one thing.
Right.
And that's really interesting that the pain doctor, uses so many different modalities.
Well,
because not everybody responds to the same thing.
Yeah. Well, Roberta, thank you so much for being with us today. And I look forward to another talk with you. And thanks again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a great day.
You too, Roberta. Bye.